Welcome back to the Prospered Soul podcast. I'm continuing on with developing self-worth, self-confidence by starting from within and continuing on building from what we've already learned in the past 3 episodes. So, you have 2 natural born skills that you already possess. That once you develop these, they're going to cause you to feel safer within yourself so that you can be yourself. And here they are. They're 2 lies. 2 lies that you may have accepted as the truth. Number 1 is embarrassment threatens your social acceptance. Did you know that people overestimate the extent to which their appearance or their actions are noticed by others? You might think that everyone's looking at you, but they're actually not. Scientists call this a spotlight effect. And according to the spotlight effect, we greatly overestimate how many people are taking notice of us. And we think they're looking at us and they're thinking about us, when in reality, it's been shown that people are really focused on themselves. They are actually fixated on the things happening in their very own lives, and they're not paying attention to you nearly as much as you think they might be. So they aren't focused on you. And if they are looking at you or thinking about you, you're actually on their mind for a very short time. The second lie is that embarrassment will ruin you. So how many times have you witnessed someone else getting truly embarrassed and you thought to yourself, oh my God, that's going to ruin them? And then it didn't. And you were surprised. Can you think of anyone? One comes to mind for me right now. I used to watch The Real Housewives of New York City when it had the original cast. And when Bethany Frankel was on there before Skinny Girl, she was dumped on national television by her boyfriend on this show. And it was really humiliating. And she was the only one of the New York cast who didn't have money. She actually had to go to work to pay her rent. She had a hard time paying her rent. Even in her books, before she made it, she talks about how she had this really big ring and she used to hawk it to pay her rent. So she got humiliated on national television by her boyfriend, who actually dumped her. And that's way before Jason, the guy that she married and had the spinoff with. And then, as I said, the other people on the cast were financially successful. One of them was Kelly Bessimel. Her husband's a photographer. Her ex-husband was a photographer. And she invited Miss Bethany to a drink. For some reason, these two did not get along. And she told told Bethany on national television, I'm up here and you're down here. Now see, this is what I liked about Bethany. Bethany took no embarrassment. It's like as if embarrassment, she was foreign to it. She set her right, okay? She didn't tell her off, cuss at her or nothing like that, but she put her in her place respectfully. Even to the point to where Kelly was like, no, that I didn't mean that. We're not on the same level. She didn't expect for Bethany to stand up for herself and to know her worth. because she was struggling financially, and so she looked down on her. And because they're all on the same show, they know what's happening on the show. So I guess she must have known she got dumped, and she figures she's embarrassed and she's not going to be strong within. But no, she was strong within, and even that inner strength is what, no surprise, helped her to create that Skinny Girl mega success company that she ended up selling some parts. I think she still has some parts of it. But she was very brave. Again, she was struggling to have enough money to pay her rent. She was pursuing business ideas on the show. They didn't always work out. She was the poorest of the housewives, and she was the least regarded. But she was cool, and she had a inner demeanor about herself that said, I'm not a people pleaser, nor am I going to be less than you. I'm just as good as you. And she was scrappy, and now she is a business mogul making billions of dollars. She even had a talk show, and it canceled. Was she embarrassed? No. So I know me, for one, and getting embarrassed used to be something that I used to be afraid of. And so I would avoid situations to where I might get embarrassed. But you actually need to step out and risk the chance of getting humiliated. Because what you actually will find out is there's nothing humiliating coming to you. It's all conditions, situations are neutral. And it's what you read into it. It's the way, the interpretation that you give is what makes something embarrassed or not. So when you sharpen these two skills that you already have the no one's looking at you really. They're really looking at themselves. That's a scientific fact. And not reading and watching how you interpret things, and letting things just be neutral, and letting things be an experiment, and learn from it, and nothing being a mistake, but just a mistake, or just facts that you can gain from, because you aren't able to develop and get better sitting and thinking about it. You have to step out and act, just like I'm doing with this podcast. Ordinarily, unfortunately, in the past, I would script out everything, and I would have everything planned like way months in advance and so forth, and then go out and do things sometimes, when it's something that I've been thinking about a lot. Not this time, though. I just pushed record and started talking. I have an idea of what I want to talk about. I've written a lot of things, and I have concise messages and so forth, like with this series that I just did about being afraid of your truth. It's very important that you're not afraid of your truth. So, but I am also learning that as I sit here and I talk, I start having different messages that in my subconscious, or just things I've written, start pouring out of me, and it ends up being a lot funner and nicer than I had originally intended. So make sure that you go back and you listen to the very first Are You Afraid of Your Truth, all the way back to this message. These here alone are going to significantly help you with that inner self-worth, confidence, being the best version of yourself, continually allowing yourself to be you authentically, because you don't need to be anyone else. You're good enough just as you are. Thank you for listening. Don't forget about the free play guide that I've provided and the other nice information in the description. Have a great day or evening.